Chris has got some better questions than he did yesterday. Oh, is this mic on? Sorry, Chris.
We're joined by UNC Asheville head coach Mike Morrell, Tajion Jones, and Drew Pember. Coach?
Yeah, just, I thought it was a really gutsy performance, for our players. They kind of asked me, like, what adjustments did you make? We didn't really make a lot of adjustments. I've had a lot of conversations with myself this year about this particular team, and sometimes I just got to get out of the way and trust them. And when you got two guys like this right here, it makes my job of coaching a lot easier. And so, I thought you saw that in the second half. I thought Nick McMullen was terrific today. And he was also the most vocal guy on our bench. And Nick's been in this situation before. He's been in 2 NCAA tournaments at Murray State, and I thought that really showed today. And so, again, just a gutsy performance. I can't say enough about how good of a team that Upstate is. We've had, 3 absolute wars with them. So, credit to them. But this time of year, it's going to be a battle, and whoever we play tomorrow, I'm sure it'll be the same. But very proud of our team, and especially these 2 guys up here.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take questions for our student athletes. We'll start here. Go here.
For either Tajion or Drew, that 9-0 run there late in the half, I think that took you from down 2 to up 7. What was the biggest difference to key that run?
I got it. I'll say when we huddled before we went out on that run, I was trying to tell our team that we need to get a kill. A kill is like 3 stops in a row, and like our defense is what really powers our offense. So we just really locked down on defense, and that's really what powered our run.
Yeah, I was playing terrible defense during, before that. All the guys were kind of, getting underneath me a little bit. The coach said you have more, and I tried to buckle down. Just they helped me so much tonight. I was so awful defensively, for a majority of the game. But Nick, everybody had my back tonight, so I'm thankful for that.
Brian?
Tay, obviously still 40 minutes to go, but is this kind of what you envisioned when you decided before the year to run back?
Yeah, this was a vision, but we all prepped for it and back in the summer, so you never know what's going to happen. But it's just stuff we've been working for since the summertime. But the vision's starting to come true a little bit.
The gentleman to his left and the gentleman to his right were the 2 primary recruiters on him returning for his 6th year. So we can pat ourselves on the back for that, Drew.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you.
Other questions? Go ahead.
Guys, going back to that second matchup with Upstate, what were some things that you were able to, work on, if that's the right term, that you were able to improve on going into this the rubber match?
Just being connected. Going down there, there was a lot of switches, a lot of defensive coverages that we messed up. We weren't as connected as we usually are. We don't really know what happened, but today, we always talk about the most connected team's going to win the game, and that comes with team chemistry, loving each other, respecting one another, and that's how it plays out most of the time.
Drew, you talked about your own individual defense, but when you looked at that sheet, you see 3 for 12, 2 for 7, 8 for Gainey. The effort from the rest of the team on shutting him down, thoughts on that?
Fletcher Abey is the most undervalued guy on this team. He guards the best player every single game. He doesn't have any defensive lapses. He's unbelievable for us, and that doesn't get talked about enough, and I think it should get talked about more. And then we got guys coming off the bench, Doc, AC, Trent. We've got a bunch of guys coming off the bench that are also, big keys to our defense, and they have my back a lot of the times, and I'm grateful for that. But there's a lot of guys on this team that are very underappreciated.
Back here.
Coach, you had the game yesterday against Charleston Southern, that 11-0 run. They kind of got up in the front here, back and forth at the beginning too.
Right.
What can you say contributes to these kind of slower starts in these games?
For us?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I thought yesterday was a little bit of jitters, quite frankly, and I tell our guys all the time, the other team wants to win too. So, they're going to make plays. Jordan Gainey's going to make tough shots. It's your ability to respond in the moment, And so when you look in Webster's dictionary, the definition of response is not this, but it is in the dictionary of UNC Asheville basketball. your ability to focus on the next most important thing. That goes whether you're down 3 or whether you're down 11. You know, thankfully for us yesterday when we found ourselves down 11, we had 36 minutes left to play. And so I really didn't think we got off to too tough of a start. I just give a lot of credit to Upstate, you know, and they've got guards that put you on your heels for the entirety of the game. And what they do with us, and it's extremely smart, you know, we primarily play a 2 forward lineup, and they play 4 guards. And so they put big fella over here in a bind a little bit, which is why he's a little down on himself. He was better than he's given himself credit for. But it's just a battle, man. You know, I said this yesterday. I can't remember the word that Brian used, but I mean, this is as deep of a league as I have seen it in the 6 years that I've been a part of it, and a lot of it's, you know, the age of the players. So, you know, we try to get off to good starts. You know, everybody's like, you're a second half team. I don't know, maybe, you know, maybe we are, maybe we're not. I just want to win by more than 1 point. So. But I think Tay said it, you know, your ability in the moment to focus on what's next, knowing that you're going to be very imperfect in that.
Coach, as we heard, Drew's downplaying his own defense a little bit, but offensively he certainly showcased a few things here today. 31 points is his 3rd highest total in a game this year. Had a couple 40-point games, but talk about a big player coming up in a big moment when it was really necessary here in the semis.
Yeah, you know, he deflects the attention that he gets, right? And but we're obviously very grateful for him. But also, he doesn't get put in those situations if the Tajions and the Fletchers and those guys aren't spacing the floor out. And so, because of the way Drew can attack you on offense, you got to decide what you want to do, you know. And so, you know, and I'm the 2nd hardest person on him in our program. The first is Trent Stephanie, all right? And so the best attribute that he has is he's a good person. That's why he's a very, very good player, because his teammates trust him. So when you get in these moments, a lot of the guys understand that, you know, we play through him a lot, but also at the end of games, a lot of times it's the Caleb Burgesses or the Alexes that he's talking about that make plays. So it's a give and a take. He played great today. You know, 11 free throw attempts, 9 out of 11. I mean, he makes me a better coach, that's for sure. But he's hard on himself.
Thank you. Mike, you said there's times when you realize you got to kind of get out of the way and let the players lead. Was there a specific example out there tonight? And then when do you know that it's time to do that?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Smart used to say that all the time. You know, if you recruit good players, man, you know, at some point you got to go let them play. And so I think that's part of coaching is trying to understand that. I think as I've developed as a head coach, that's something I've tried to do. Now, when you got guys like this, it's a little bit easier, right? But you know, I think a specific example is just late in the game. You know, there's a fine line between telling them what to do every single possession and then them also feeling like they're playing freely. So, you know, that's, again, it's a fine line. I'm very, very fortunate here that I have guys who understand that there's something a lot bigger working. And so that's not easy to do. That's also not coach-driven. That is player-driven. And so it's a credit to them, not so much me.
Could you follow up on what Drew was saying about Fletcher? I mean, he doesn't do a whole lot of things in the box score, as you like to say, but I mean, he was the guy on Goodlow there at the end of the defense on the 3-point attempt.
Leads our team in stats that don't show up on a stat sheet. I don't know how else to put it. He's literally exhausted after every single game. He plays to exhaustion. More than any kid I've ever coached, and I've played some. I mean, I've been fortunate to coach some good ones. I've been flying that flag all year long. You know, I think him and Nick McMullen on our team, they do so much. But listen, that's what you're supposed to do when you have a good team. You know, you don't get a medal for that, and those two understand that more than anyone we have. There's a lot that is made about these two guys up here, and deservedly so. But You don't win games without that. And I think in terms of additions to our program, he's been you could argue he's been the greatest addition that we've had, just because he's willing to do he would literally take a charge on a Nissan. Literally. He's not afraid of it. And so Drew ain't doing that. He tried to take a charge about a couple months ago. He's never allowed to do that again unless it's in one particular situation.
It was against Winthrop on Telford. I was on the
He
right
folded
line.
up like a chair.
We've got two more. We'll go here.
Mike, you and I talked after the first season, after the 4-win season. We talked again last week about this being a player-driven culture and a player-driven team. And whenever you did turn that corner, it was going to be because of the players. Is this the best culture you've ever been a part of?
Good question. I think it's all relative. Now, you envision things when you get somewhere. I'm a byproduct of who I've worked for and worked with. We had some pretty good cultures at VCU. But, for me, it's really not about stacking it up to what's the best and what's not the best. I've said this, the most special moment for me in my 4.5 years was watching him go up the ladder and cut the piece of net. There's nothing that's been more special for me as a person than that. And so, winning breeds that a little bit, but I've said this a lot, man. I got into coaching because I didn't know what else to do, literally. I mean, people say I got into it to help all these people. I got into coaching because I didn't know what else to do. So I was very lucky. I was around people who taught me, what I believe is the way that you build a program, and was very fortunate that people at UNC Asheville believed in me when maybe I didn't deserve it. And so, I think it's definitely up there, but I got a really good staff, man, and I got better players, and they're really, really good people. And I tell them this all the time: basketball is not important enough to be miserable. It's not. And so I've been miserable. I don't want to be miserable no more. But no, I'm just really grateful for the people, that gave me an opportunity and continue to do that, in Asheville.
For Coach and for Drew, the titles that you received at the beginning of this, the targets that are on your back, having those accolades, talk about what kind of mindset that puts you in going into this last game.
They don't mean anything. they mean absolutely nothing. Coach and I talk about that a lot. We haven't done anything yet. That's kind of the mindset that we take. I can let Coach allude to it a little bit, but that's just it doesn't mean anything.
It means a little something. We did win a regular season
him,
championship. But it means a lot more to me than for these guys, and you get a coach. Nobody's in the huddle. Nobody votes on a Coach of the Year award, because they watch your huddles. They watch your team, so. That Coach of the Year trophy is theirs. It's not mine. Just like that regular season championship trophy is theirs. And it goes back to your question, like when you truly have a player-driven program, that's what it's about. It's not about you. And so I'm grateful for it. I do believe this. I believe that the Big South has got as good a coaches as in any league in the country. And I've been in a Big 12. I've been in the A-10. I've been in the ACC. And I'm really not a guy to clout where I've been, but I can assure you there's not many better coaches than Dave Dickerson. And it's a battle every game. So luckily for me, I got good guys up here.
And Coach, can we get a copy of the UNC Asheville dictionary you were talking about?
Yeah, it's one page. It won't take you long. You meet me out here, I'll write it up for you.
Mike, guys, congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.